Tonight, a CTV election poll. It's a tight race.
A CTV News Special Edition. Decision 93.
CTV News with Lloyd Robertson.
Good evening. It's still very early, but it looks like we could be on our way to a minority government in next month's election. A new CTV Angus Reid poll shows no party getting enough support to win it all. Here's the picture among decided voters. The Progressive Conservatives are at 35%. So are the Liberals. The Reform Party is at 11%. So is the Bloc Québécois. The NDP has 6%. Other parties score 2%, and only 12% of voters are undecided. That's the popular vote, but that, of course, is not what ultimately counts in elections in this country. The governing party is usually the one that holds the most seats in Parliament. So Angus Reid has taken all the poll results and crunched them into a seat projection model. And according to this model, it's a Liberal minority government in a 295-seat House. The Liberals wind up with 126 seats, far short of a majority. The Conservatives are next at 114. The Bloc Québécois is third with 36 seats. The Reform Party gets 14, and the NDP is last with 5 seats. Keep in mind that if those numbers hold, and if the New Democrats get fewer than 12 seats, the party could lose its status as an official party in the House of Commons. First, the story on the Conservatives. Not long ago, they were in the political abyss at 18%. On the strength of newcomer Kim Campbell, they surged to 35%. But that's where they seem to be stuck, and have stayed stuck since June. So can they get out of neutral gear? Consider those who voted for the Conservatives in 1988. Last July, 52% of them said they'd vote Tory again. On September 9th, that dropped to 50%. And now our poll has support dipping again to 48%. Why the drop? Well, look to the West and look to Quebec. It's the dramatic rise of the regional parties. Reform and the Bloc Québécois are siphoning off Tory votes. Let's take a closer look. Of those Tory voters in 1988, those we just spoke about, 10% moved to Reform in July. Then it was up to 12% just after the election call 2 weeks ago, and up again to 14% according to our latest survey. And Tories in Quebec going to the Bloc Québécois moved from 8 to 10 to 12%. The question now is, will this Tory stall turn into a Tory nosedive, or is there any room for support to grow? CTV's Leslie Jones reports.
For Tory strategists, the campaign is Kim Campbell, and every event is designed to make her appear more in touch with the 90s than her rivals.
So I'd like to invite you to set the agenda this afternoon. Je vous invite.
It's working. Compared to Jean Chrétien, twice as many voters think she'd make the best prime minister. She also scores better on style, trust, on being straightforward. And her advisors know Canadians don't want negative politics.
I think we've graduated from the days of so-and-so is bad or they're no good. People don't have time now. We want honest politics.
Still, Kim Campbell does take shots. They're just less personal.
I'm amused when people think that just because we don't have the kind of old pork barrel job creation programs that the Liberals are coming up with, that somehow we're not an activist government.
The Prime Minister is reacting to what may be her Achilles heel, the jobs issue. On the first day of her campaign, she said unemployment would remain unacceptably high for a few years.
Give us some jobs, Kim Campbell!
Ever since, Campbell's been promising that her government would produce a climate for creating long-term, meaningful jobs. Eliminating the deficit in 5 years will free up the money to do just that, she says.
It's not because I have a fetish for the bottom line or I'm a mean, cruel person. I think the cruelest thing you can do to this country is not to eliminate the deficit.
Campbell is spending a lot of time visiting successful businesses to prove Canadians can adapt to the changing economy, and there is reason for hope.
There is hope for Canadians. There is real hope in real solutions to real problems.
But the poll shows Canadians are still evenly divided over who does offer the most hope for the future. Although the poll shows Kim Campbell is still the Tories' best weapon in this campaign, she appears to have taken her popularity as far as it can go. While she's still on top, the number of people who think she'd make the best leader has dropped. So if the Tories hope to reclaim momentum, they may have to start putting more emphasis in other places. Leslie Jones, CTV News, Ottawa.
Now to the Liberals. Since August, the party has slid a little, but our poll shows support may have stabilized. For one thing, unlike the Tories, the Liberals are holding on to their 1988 votes. For another, they're picking up lots of disillusioned New Democrats. And then there's the voters' opinion of Liberal leader Jean Chrétien. Kim Campbell is still seen as the best choice for Prime Minister, but Chrétien's rating is going up. And the good news for the Liberals doesn't stop there. According to our poll, they are beginning to win on the jobs issue. That issue is critical in Newfoundland, and that's where CTV's Craig Oliver is tonight.
The Liberal leader sprinting through the streets of Corner Brook for his first meeting of the day and trying to catch a few early morning voters. The CTV poll also indicates that Jean Chrétien is running on the right issue. 45% of Canadians say that worry about job security is their major concern. By almost 2 to 1, they also think that Chrétien is more committed to creating those jobs than Campbell.
Hello, sir. How are you? Nice to see you.
Chrétien's plant gate meeting with shift workers at the local pulp mill was intended to underscore the jobs issue.
BC's hasn't done much, so maybe we should give the Liberals another chance.
Unemployment in Newfoundland at 21% is the highest in the country. But capturing the jobs issue may also explain why the Liberals are cleaning up in Rust Belt, Ontario, and why, according to the CTV poll, the collapsing NDP vote is shifting to the Liberals in massive numbers.
The program to establish a core for the young people of Canada so that they can have some jobs.
Everywhere, Chrétien waves the Liberal policy Bible to buttress his arguments.
Back to the phone lines now and take another call. Good morning, caller.